Hello, I'm Shelley Wilkinson, and I am just going to explain a little bit about NAET, which is one of the techniques that we do here in our office. Just so you have a little background before you come and you'll understand a little better why we do what we do. So NAET stands for Nambudrapad's Allergy Elimination Technique. It was started by a Dr. Nambudrapad. She's from India. She lives in California now, and she developed this technique back in 1983. She is a registered nurse, a medical doctor, a chiropractor, and has a PhD in acupuncture. So she's got a great balance of Eastern and Western training, but her technique is a completely Eastern technique. So the difference is, in Western medicine, we focus so much on body systems, and we are having doctors for every body system in hopes that by getting all of the body systems working properly, the whole body will work well as a whole, which works great for lots of things. Chinese medicine is just a completely different approach to tackle the same types of problems. And they only focus on one system. They focus on the energetic system. I don't know if you can see it from where I'm sitting, but this chart back here shows the energetic system. So you can see all of the dots on the chart. Those represent the most common acupuncture points on the body, and the lines that connect them represent the pathways. And so energy will jump from one pathway to the next, to the next, to the next, until it gets all the way through our system and gets back to where it started. It takes 24 hours for that to happen. So we kind of get a reset every 24 hours where our energy has gone through all the pathways and it's about to start over. So if there are blockages to flow in any of these pathways, it will create symptoms. And the symptoms could be physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, mental symptoms, or spiritual symptoms. They could be anything. In Chinese medicine, they say where there is flow of energy, there is no pain. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, where there are blockages to flow, there will be pain or symptoms in one or more of those areas. And so the whole goal of Chinese medicine is flow. And they believe that when there's flow in the energetic system, it opens up flow in all of the other systems. That's why they only focus on one system, the energetic system, because in Chinese medicine, they believe that system kind of governs all of the other systems. And if we can open up flow there, then it will improve your lymphatic flow and your respiratory flow and your circulation and your digestive flow and your emotional flow. All of the other things start to fall into place a little bit better when there is flow in the energetic system. So these pathways are super high frequency pathways, meaning that they vibrate at a very high frequency. Everything vibrates at a frequency. And so the things that vibrate at a high frequency, I like to call all of those things light, because our energy at its most basic level is made out of light. And so I like to call all of the things that carry a positive frequency just different frequencies of light. So like vitamin B carries a different frequency than vitamin C, but they're both good. Our body likes both of them. They can both help open up our flow. And so I use the word light. Gratitude carries a different frequency than love or peace or kindness, but we love feeling all of those emotions because they're all high frequency and they're compatible with our natural high frequency. So because our energy is made out of light and vibrates at a really high frequency, we resonate, or we are compatible with things that also have a high frequency. Low frequency stuff is what blocks our flow. That can be things like trauma we've been through, maybe a really bad experience that we had, maybe a really bad illness that we had. It could be emotions we feel that we just don't know what to do with, like grief. It's hard to know sometimes how to let go of that and how to get it out of our pathways. Sometimes the low frequency things that block our flow are beliefs we tell ourselves that aren't true. Like, well, I'll never be well, I'll never be thin, I'll never be good at math, my brain doesn't work that way. Well, none of that is true, but the more that we say it to ourselves, the more our body starts to act like it's true, because we're telling it to do that. So that can block our flow, and those heavy emotions and beliefs that we tell ourselves that aren't true feel heavy because they're not compatible with our higher frequency. The things we inherit could also be inherited things, or things that block our flow. The low frequency stuff could also be inherited. And so it could be things like an unhealthy family pattern that gets passed down, like maybe a pattern of stubbornness, or a pattern of laziness, or a pattern of not expressing how you feel, or maybe over expressing how you feel and being explosive. We can see these patterns in different families. And if we inherit a pattern like that, we will repeat it unless we're actively trying to change it, recognizing it and changing it. Sometimes we can inherit trauma from an ancestor. And I like to think about it this way. I think about the trauma getting stuck to that ancestor's DNA, and then we inherit that DNA with the trauma attached. And so then if we have a similar experience in our life where the same types of emotions come up that came up for that ancestor, then this trauma gets triggered, and it almost causes like a PTSD type response, causing our current situation to feel much bigger and harder than it needs to, because the subconscious is saying, oh boy, brace yourself, this is going to be really hard. I've been here before, but we've never been there before. But our DNA has been there before because we inherited that DNA. And this is what epigenetics is all about, is inherited emotional things such as trauma that cause a response in us when we have a similar experience. So it makes our current experience feel harder because not only are we going through our own emotions of this experience, but we have all this generational stuff piled on top of it. And so it just feels bigger and harder. So sometimes we'll work on generational stuff here because that's something that this technique can help with. In Chinese medicine, they also believe that 99% of all health ailments are rooted in spirit, meaning that there's a spiritual or an emotional component at the root of 99% of the physical, and that only 1% is purely just physical, which makes sense because we're not just a physical being. We're not just one body system. We're a whole system. And so most of the parts of us are going to be involved in most of our experiences. So 99% of all ailments are rooted in spirit, but only about 50% of the time does that emotional or spiritual stuff need to be addressed, because the other 50% of the time we've already worked through it and we're all ready to let it go, and it'll just go as we do the treatment. So this low frequency energy, what I call reactivity, that blocks our flow, it can get attached to things. For example, say your grandma died and you were so sad and you're processing through all your grief of grandma dying, and maybe your dog can tell you're sad. So your dog comes up and you're petting your dog as you're thinking about how sad you are. And maybe it's springtime and everything's blooming, and maybe you just feel like eating a lot of ice cream during that time, so you're eating a lot of ice cream. Well, if you can't figure out how to get the grief out of your pathways, how to let go of the grief, then it will be attached to whatever was around when you felt that way. Kind of like smells. Have you ever smelled something and it can pull back a memory just like that? We are emotional beings, and we're feeling emotions all day long, and we're attaching emotions to things all day long. It's like a song can pull back a memory, or it can pull back a feeling of nostalgia or happiness or peace. And so that's another example of attaching emotions to things and it being triggered. So if we're holding on to the grief from grandma dying, the next time the dog frequency comes close, it's going to trigger this grief that's sitting in one of our pathways, and we might break out into hives or get itchy, watery eyes. And we're sitting here thinking, this is super strange. I've never reacted to dogs in my life. What is going on? And it's just now because grief is attached to dogs. So it's not really the dog that you're reacting to, it's the physical manifestation of the grief that the dog can trigger. Same thing with next spring rolls around, and the subconscious might say, Oh, last spring was terrible. I hated it. I hate spring. So then your body might start to hate spring and you start to develop these springtime allergies that you've never had before. Same thing with the ice cream. Next time you eat ice cream, the physical manifestation of that grief might be bloating or diarrhea. And so if we can figure out how to get that grief out of our pathway by pulling in something more high frequency, then the grief would be gone and it wouldn't be attached to the ice cream or the springtime or the dog, and we would stop reacting to all of it. So maybe pulling in a positive thought about grandma, like, I loved grandma. I loved her stories. I loved her recipes. I loved these special memories that I got to have with her that I will always cherish. I am going to pass that on. I am going to recreate those memories with somebody that I love, or maybe we'll make her food every Sunday, or maybe we'll celebrate Christmas with one of her traditions that she used. That's a much more high frequency way of thinking about grandma than just being so sad that she's gone. It's like a celebration of her. It's like letting all of the good of grandma live on through you. And so that will automatically flush out the grief because it's high frequency. It's the opposite, and it will open up the flow and flush out the grief. It's like if all the lights were off in this room. There are no windows in here. And if all the lights were off, it would be pitch black. But the second I turn on the light, there is no dark because the light's on. And so it's the same thing with our pathways. The more light or high frequency energy that we can pull in, the more it flushes out the low frequency energy and opens up our flow and helps us feel better. So we can pull in high frequency energy, or what I call light, in many different ways. We can pull it in physically through hydration, through getting proper nutrition, exercise, sleep. We can pull it in mentally by learning something new and invigorating our brain. We can bring it in emotionally through focusing on a positive thought or a mantra, or focusing on truth. We can pull it in spiritually, and we all do that in different ways. So the more of that we can pull in, the more it opens up our flow and flushes out the low frequency stuff that we hold. So we all hold low frequency stuff because we're human. We all feel all the emotions. We all have things we inherit. We all go through different experiences and trials and traumas and illnesses. And so all of that is low frequency stuff that can block our flow. So I like to think of us, this is an analogy that I like to bring up because it comes up a lot in the treatments. I like to think of each of us as a beautiful shining ball of light. And if you think about a light ball, it's always shining, it's always complete, it has value just because it exists. It's always worthy because how could light not be worthy? It's only light. And it's always connected to all other light because light attracts light. Our light is naturally attracted to the light in everyone and in everything. That's why it feels so good to walk out in nature, because we're naturally attracted to the light in the birds singing, or in the waters, the rocks, the flowers, the trees, the mountains. And all of that positive energy is also attracted to us as well because our energy is made out of light. And so we're also always connected to the source of light, however that looks to us. Some people look at that source as God. Some people look at it as nature, or the sun, or the power of the universe, or maybe even just the word source. But because it's the source, we're always connected to it because that's where our light comes from, because it's the source. And so because we're always connected to that source, we're always loved by the source of light, understood by the source of light, and we're always appreciated by the source of light. So I picture us as that, the light ball, connected to all other light. Then I picture the light ball as having arms. With those arms, we get to hold on to all the stuff that's not light. We get to hold on to all of our trauma, all of our experiences, all of our emotions, all of our beliefs, all the stuff we inherit. We can hold on to unworthy stuff if we want to. But it doesn't matter what we're holding. Nothing changes the fact that we're just the light ball. That's all we are. Our true self, our higher self, is only that. And this stuff we're holding is just stuff we're holding or stuff we happen to be passing through on our journey. So a beautiful part of healing is pulling in more light to help us see, oh, I'm holding stuff. Do I want to keep holding that, or do I want to let go of that? Because usually we can't even see that we're holding it. But we get to hold our stuff as long as we want, and we get to let go of it whenever we're ready, because it's our journey, and so does everyone else. Sometimes what we do here helps with relationships, because our light would never naturally react negatively to somebody else's light. Light attracts light, but it might react to their stuff that they hold, or our stuff might react to their stuff. Our selfishness might react to someone else's selfishness, or our pride might react to their pride, or our insecurity might react to somebody else's insecurity. So the more of our stuff that we hold, the more we let go of, the easier it is to have a little more compassion on other people and try to jump over their stuff and connect with their light and give them their journey. Let them carry their stuff as long as they want, just like we get to carry our stuff as long as we want. So it helps kind of change mindsets in relationships when we can work through our stuff and let go of our stuff. So sometimes we'll do an emotional treatment here. Sometimes we'll do an allergy treatment. Dr. Nambujapad defines an allergy as anything that is blocking our flow. She will call all the blockages allergies. So it includes all health ailments other than injury, because in her mind, injuries are not caused by a blockage to flow. They're caused by some type of an accident or something, or you fall and you break your leg, which can in turn cause blockages to flow, but the injuries in and of themselves are not caused by blockages to flow. But everything else, she believes, is being caused by blockages to flow. So she calls those blockages allergies. So her definition is super broad for allergy. She would call cancer an allergy. She'd call acne an allergy. She'd call depression or anxiety allergies. She would call allergies. So that's the word that she uses. And that's why we can treat lots of different things with this technique, because that word allergy is very broad. So I use the word reactivity for the blockages, this low frequency energy that blocks our flow, just because it makes more sense to my Western brain to call it that. So I'll be asking your body questions in your visit. Your body is your record. You have muscle memory of everything. Your body knows what's wrong. It knows why. It knows the easy, most effective way to help. Much better than I do, because I will have just met you, and all I know is what you tell me, but your body knows. And so we're trying to access that information through muscle testing. Another name for that is kinesiology. It's accessing muscle memory. And so I'll be asking your body questions like, do I have permission to treat you today? Is your body strong enough for a treatment? Is there an easy, most effective way to help you? And if so, is it even in anything that I know how to do? And if not, does anyone know how to help you? And who is that person? Where do we send you? If it isn't something that I know how to do, then I will ask the body which of the modalities would be most effective to help you today. And then I'll kind of go through the different modalities that I know. And so sometimes the treatments look totally different from one treatment to the next. Sometimes we're doing acupuncture. Sometimes we're doing an emotional treatment. Sometimes we're doing an allergy treatment. It's just based on what your body says is the easy, most effective way to help you. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an understanding of how we do NAET in our office. And thank you for watching this. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us at your visit. Okay, we'll see you when you come in.